clearly condemning acts like 9/11. We got to keep going over this shoe bomber, underwear bomber, the envelope bomber, whatever, G-string bomber. These things are contrary to Islam. Islam says don't kill women, don't kill children, don't kill the old people. Islam is about peace, peace with yourself, peace with the creator of the heavens and earth, and peace with the rest of humanity. And people are getting to learn all this and more here on the Deen Show. Continuing on, tell us now, jihad, I mentioned it, and they translate it, which obviously a mistranslation, it's not your holy war. Talk to us about this word jihad.
Well, jihad does not mean holy war whatsoever. And jihad, I don't even know what it means. A very, very flagrant way of trying to say it.
Jihad, like the cowboys from the West now.
I know. Jihad needs to be understood in its context as well. Jihad is an Arabic word that means to strive or to struggle to do something. And that can be many things. If they build a building, let's say in Arabic, they would say they did juhud. You know, they did jihad to put this building up. It was a struggle, it was hard. But if we want to go to the definition of jihad itself, wherever we find jihad in the Quran or any derivative of the word jihad, whenever we find jihad in the statements of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, it is understood as a physical struggle and as an internal struggle to seek the pleasure of God, to make God's oneness known on the earth, and also to eradicate injustice, to eradicate oppression, to eradicate tyranny, and to eradicate terrorism on the globe. This is jihad. Jihad is an attempt and a struggle to establish peace on the earth, justice for all human beings, so that no one has to fear for their life, so no one has to fear for their safety, so that everyone is taken care of financially, economically, socially, so that everyone's rights are afforded to them under the system of law that was given to them by God. Jihad is an attempt to do that. So for someone to say that jihad is to kill innocent people, it's very contradictory to the teaching itself. The teaching itself would say no, that if there is someone who seeks to kill innocent people, jihad would mandate that I stop them. That I stop them. If someone was tyrannizing other people, jihad mandates that I try to stop them. Even if it be my own self, even if it be my brother in Islam, or my blood brother, or my father, or my mother, it necessitates that I try to establish justice, freedom, and free people from oppression and tyranny.
Now also, obviously, look, does Islam give you the right to defend yourself, to do jihad against the person who tries to commit injustice towards you? Let's say he tries to rob you, come in your house, stick you up, try to rape your wife. You know, you jihad against this person to get him out, to protect your loved ones. Is this a form of jihad?
Absolutely, that's logical. That is logical, that self-preservation is intuned into our psyche. It is embedded into our psyche to preserve myself and to preserve that which I love and my family and my property. So a Muslim is not allowed, you know, in the religion he is told or she is told to defend oneself. That's my honor. This is my person, my family, my property, my land, whatever I own. It is my right to make sure that it is safe. And if I have to defend myself against someone trying to take that or put that in danger, then I have afforded every right to do so. And this is logical. This is very much rational ideology.
So is it also struggling and striving to be noble, to be righteous against those evil inclinations, let's say those evil things inside, the desires sometimes, to tame these desires so you're not at the nightclubs on the weekend, you're not using profanity, you're not hooking up with that lady outside of marriage, and you're not being promiscuous, showing all the cleavage and being naked out there, prostituting yourself, you know, looking for all that negative attention, and you're doing jihad to be modest, to be noble, to be righteous, to speak good words, to be good to your family, to your parents, not to be disrespectful to them. That is jihad. Is it or is it not?
Absolutely. To try to be a Muslim, which we spoke about in a previous episode, which a Muslim is someone who tries to do Islam, that is a jihad. Struggling every day to please the Creator, to make myself a better human being, to forward myself as a better person in society, as a more educated person, as trying to obey my parents. Those are all considered jihad as well. A mother trying to take care of her children is considered jihad. A woman who gives birth is considered jihad. To speak the truth is considered jihad. There are so many things which, when we put them in the proper context of what is jihad, then it becomes very clear that what the media represents as jihad is very much not jihad.
Many people they're a little bit timid, they're a little bit scared, but you know, people are good. You know, we have good people in this society. You know, they're our neighbors, our co-workers, and the same thing. They go to the Muslim physician. You know, Muslims are doctors, scientists. You know, the engineers. You know, your cab driver, and good law-abiding citizens. But we also adhere to the law of God.
Yes.
And the law of God doesn't call us to kill innocent people. It doesn't cause us to do tyranny and oppression and all this other nonsense. So you hear people like, you know, we don't hate them. We just don't want that over here, right? In some of the big cities, Chicago, New York, you know, people are intelligent. They see through all the baloney. But in some of these other cities, it seems like there's a little more misconceptions. There's a little more confusion. So another term, okay, we cleared up jihad. Another one, Sharia. And this is, I compare it to like the boogeyman's coming to get you. And they're starting to pass laws that, you know, you can't have Sharia here and this and that. Define for us Sharia, what it is and what it's all about, and did Moses and Jesus teach Sharia?
Now earlier we did touch on Sharia, what it meant. It was a way to leading to God's pleasure,
Yeah.
and that all the prophets did have a Sharia way, a codified law. But Sharia in Islam, if we wanted to kind of give it a synopsis, what is the ultimate goals of the Sharia in Islam? The ultimate goals of the Sharia in Islam are to see that society lives a just and righteous life before God, to see that everyone is afforded their proper rights. No one goes hungry. No one goes without food. No one goes without shelter. No one goes without their daily expenses of life that necessitates them to be able to be a productive human being. And all of these things are within the Sharia. And I've done many lectures where I ask people, would you like a law that is codified to give every human being their rights, and it needs no amendments, it needs no adjustments, that make sure there's no racism, that make sure there's no oppression, there's no sexism, there's no prostitution, there's no gambling where people are getting, you know, stealing other people's money, there's no interest-based system where people, the rich, are continually to get rich off the backs of the poor. All of these good things, and most people are like, yes, this is a very good system. I said, this is the Sharia. This is the Sharia. This comes to seek about this means to bring society to the closest it can get to a utopia, because it is designed by the Creator itself. This is not a law that Muhammad, peace be upon him, made up. This is not a law that scholars make up. No, this is a law designed by the Creator of human beings. If He designed them, put them on this earth to worship Him, therefore He must, according to logic and according to justice, design a system for them to accomplish that goal. And this is the Sharia. And for people to say that the Sharia is something that you should be afraid of, we have to ask them, okay, well then what is it that you're afraid of about the Sharia? Is it you're afraid that the system of tyranny and the economics, rich getting rich off the poor, are you afraid that the Sharia will bring an end to that? Are you afraid that Sharia will bring an end to the drug problem in America or in the West, of the prostitution problem, of the gambling problem, of the homelessness? If that's what you're afraid of, then yes, the Sharia comes to, that is something you should be afraid of. But if someone is a justice-loving, freedom-loving individual, then the idea of a Sharia law, of a God-made system, should be a welcome ideology to them. And many like-minded people of many faiths who have looked at the Sharia in an unbiased way have come out publicly and stated that this is a good system, and that if it were to be implemented, it would not bring about any type of tyranny or oppression. It would be a good thing.
One note, you'll hear people like the Sharia oppresses women. What do you got to say about that?
Actually, this is very illogical, because if we look at the society today, and we walk out here in the streets of Chicago or New York or any city, and we look at how women are treated, they're already in a state of oppression. The way that they are dealt with by their beauty, they have to flaunt themselves and kind of, you know, expose themselves as something that they're not in order to gain some respect inside the world. This in Islam is oppression. For a woman to have to live that type of way. In Islam gives woman the afforded right, and actually a great right, that she is an individual and she is to be dealt with as an individual according to her intelligence, according to her personality, according to how righteous she is. And she is dealt with in that manner. Nothing to do with anything that she can offer to me, to look at or glare at. None of this is in Islam. This is actually a breaking the code in Islam to flaunt oneself in this type of manner. So Islam gives women due rights that we don't even find in the society we live in now. It gives them more rights. And we see who women convert to Islam, which is the majority of converts coming to Islam are women. They'll say that they feel more secure and safe now inside the religion of Islam than they ever felt out in the streets.
This is amazing. It's amazing. And Islam really uplifts the woman, gives her these rights that, you know, it was unheard of when people were debating if a woman had, the church was actually debating whether the woman had a soul.
Whether she had a soul or not.
Wasn't it? Islam was elevating the woman to a status, rights that she just got in this country. Isn't that?
And when actually, if someone was to take and look at, let's take a scenario of men and women relationships and men and women marriages. If they were to look at the rights between men and women, they would actually see that, and if you talk to most Muslim women, that they get the better end of the deal. In most cases, when it comes to any law, women get afforded the majority of rights, and actually men are more responsible. They don't have as many rights as they do as responsibilities, and women have a lot of the rights. And this is not to say it's an unjust and unbalanced, it's just women gives them that status that they deserve.
Yeah, there's structure, there's completion here, no guesswork. This is another proof about Islam that is from the Creator, because everything is laid out from A to Z. You can run the world with this way of life, and it only makes sense that the Creator wouldn't separate himself from what He created, meaning that He would say, he figured it out on your own, you know, and leave you in a state of confusion. He sent messengers. These messengers taught, preached and teach what the purpose of life is, how to run your lives according to His will, not your desires. And if you live it, you get peace, paradise in the next life, success in this, and everything is getting to get cleared up. And it is really amazing, amazing. And we can go on and on talking about the women and their rights. And what I suggest usually is to talk to the Muslim woman.
Yes.
Talk to her.
Talk to her. Go find one.
Ask her. Women with a hijab who marry the mother of Jesus. Some of the most noble women, they're dressing modestly because they choose to updress, not take it all off.
Yeah, they just need to go find it. I mean, we see that very clearly. And I know we don't have much time, but you know, they just passed the burqa ban in France. And if it was, and they passed, I said, because it's being forced upon the women.
Yeah.
Then why are the women fighting against the ban?
Yeah.
If it's being forced
Women,
upon them,
men.
they should be celebrating in the streets.
Yeah.
But no, the women are the ones who are fighting against this ban, saying, it's my choice, it's my right, this is my dignity. So if Islam oppresses women, why are they the one fighting for their own rights in a non-Muslim society to have their Islamic values?
And let's separate culture. You have some Muslims with the name tag, and they'll go ahead and do like what's honor killings, has nothing to do with Islam. They'll go ahead and do some oppression. That's culture separated from the true teachings of Islam.
Absolutely. Islam is codified. There is nothing in Islam that is missing. So if I add anything to it, I've made a mistake. If I subtract anything to it, I've made a mistake. So we need to know what Islam is and then clear up all these myths and clear up all these misconceptions and set the record straight. What Islam is and what Islam is not.
It'd be unfair if we didn't invite them to Islam. We got 1 minute left. Talk to them. Tell them what Islam is and the invitation of Islam and how they can be, by implementing Islam in this life, they can be successful and have peace in this life and paradise in the next. Talk to them.
Well, very clearly, Islam is a continual striving to submit yourself to the one true creator of all that exists, the God that created you in the womb of your mother, and submitting to Him on His terms, doing what He wants you to do in your life, living a life that is righteous before Him, and that will also lead you to be righteous in the world and the society, and to live in peace and harmony with all human beings. And someone who does that is a Muslim, someone who does Islam. And becoming a Muslim is very simple. There's no ritual. You don't have to go and, you know, take some big, huge ritual and ceremony and inductions. And no, very simply, if you come to an agreement with inside yourself that there is one true God that is worthy of worship, and you decide to worship Him the way He wants to be worshipped, believing in all the messengers of God, starting from Adam to Noah to Moses to David to Jesus to Muhammad, peace be upon all of them. You make that statement. I believe that there is one true God worthy of worship, and I believe in the Prophet Muhammad and all the messengers of God before him, then simply you are a Muslim. And you strive every day to try to please the one true Creator God. Then if more people did that, we would see a much more peaceful and a much more functioning society and much more better individuals.
Thank you very much. We started with peace, my brother, and we end with peace.
Peace.
Peace be unto you. Thank you.
Peace be unto you. It's my pleasure. Always my pleasure to be on the
Thank you very much. May God Almighty, the Creator Allah, reward you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hope you have enjoyed this episode, and I hope that you will think and reflect upon some of the things you have seen. See you next week, same day, same time. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you.